The International Covenant on Economic, Social and Cultural Rights is a treaty that sets international standards for the protection of rights relating to the welfare and livelihoods of all people. These rights include the right to work, an adequate standard of living, food, clothing, housing, mental health care and a healthy environment, social security and education. South Africa ratified the treaty on 12 January 2015, which means the treaty is now part of our law. Some of these standards are also protected in the South African Constitution, but others, like the right to work and an adequate standard of living, are not. To help clarify the treaty's standards and to ensure that governments keep their promises, the United Nations put together a committee of experts from around the world. The first time South Africa reported to this committee was in October 2018. A range of local and international civil society organizations gave inputs to the committee to try and help it understand the challenges faced by people living in South Africa. After considering the input, the committee issued concluding observations which recommended the government take action to further protect its people's rights. Some recommendations were as follows: apply the same minimum wage across all sectors and raise the national minimum wage, regularly adjusting it to the cost of living to ensure an adequate standard of living for workers and their families. Improve school infrastructure and ensure that all schools have access to water, sanitation facilities, and electricity by allocating and effectively managing a sufficient level of funding. Improve housing conditions and meet increased demands for housing through provision of social housing and upgrading of informal settlements. It has been over a year since the committee released these recommendations, but the government has yet to take concrete actions or explain how it will implement the recommendations. The South African Human Rights Commission has said that the implementation of the recommendations will be important in contributing to the alleviation of poverty and inequality in the country. Alongside local civil society organizations, the ICJ calls on the government of South Africa to urgently take steps to implement the committee's recommendations. This video was produced with the financial support of the European Union and does not necessarily reflect the views of the European Union.